one for now. We'll focus on trying to get the first one. Yeah. All right, thanks a lot. Have a good day. A buck tag. I officially now have my South Carolina buck tag. Now, we just have to go find a buck that wants to be a movie star. So I'm pretty excited. I came down a couple weeks prior, hung some stands, put out some whitetail trail mix, put out some cameras, and I actually have some pretty decent bucks showing up. Well, I got a late start today, but we are finally here. We're gonna get pulled in up here, get the Rambo bikes out, get our gear ready, and go climbing a stand. By the time we got in the stand, there wasn't much light left. Light was already fading, and just before dark, there was a booner house cat. This trail over here, I mean, man, it's a heck of a trail. We haven't seen a single deer on this trail. I mean, it is war. I'd say home, I'd say to the dirt, but to the sand. We got sandy ground here. Come on, man. Well, it's day 2. And we at least have a little bit of action today. There's a hawk out in front of us, a couple deer in behind us, and Paul is pulling off one of the absolute worst pan shots in whitetail frenzy history. You know, at this point, I have no idea what to expect. Just keep rolling, you'll see. He comes up behind that tree. He's right there. You want him? How many yards? He's about 30. Well, he's gonna be about 30 yards right there. He's right behind that tree. Or you want him? You gotta get on. You gotta get on him, man. You should be able to. You should be able to see him right there. He's standing there. He's looking down the hill. He's turning. I got an opening right there. Can you get on him? He's right there, man. You don't see him right there. This is a really good trail coming out of this bottom. I can see another one right over there. Might get down in here, and if I can find a good tree, move my stand location. Because if I set up, they're about 40 yards apart. If I set up right in the middle of these two trails where they go down in here, it's gonna be about a 20-yard shot either way. You know how that trail came out over there, Paul? This one came out here. It forks right there. They may be feeding in that field. I don't know. Yeah. I think this is our tree. Come here. Right here from this tree, we've got that trail angles back this way, so we've got a 10 to 15-yard shot there and a 20-yard shot right here. Like to trim a little brush, but I'm gonna go get those stands, take them down, and we're going to get in here and get set up, and hopefully this is the switch that'll do it for us. So I have to cut some shooting lanes from where we hung the stand. My thought process is that I'll get Paul up there with the camera, have him kind of tell me what limbs needs to be cut, and I'll have him film from an elevated position while I'm cutting the limbs. And at first, as we're reviewing this footage, I'm like, okay, he's filming that, but then it's like, then I have no, you can see, no clue what he's doing at this point. All right, pretty good right there.
I always think it's a good idea to spray down my cameras after I put them out, especially if I'm not wearing gloves, which I should be wearing gloves. But I also try to make sure that I clean off any residue off the lens cover or the sensors. That way you're getting the pictures you should be, and they're nice and clear. We got 2 cameras out. We got a brand new stand set. We'll be back in here in the morning.
We just got set up in the stand. Got a couple deer coming up over here to my right. This is a new set we hung yesterday. We've been seeing a lot of deer that we think are coming from this area. A lot of sign in here, so we're gonna sit tight this morning. See if we can hopefully get lucky and have a big buck roost through here.
I'll tell you what, we hit the nail on the head with this new setup. From the break of daylight, we're seeing deer activity. We've seen several deer so far. When I happen to see some movement out to our right, I look out through there with my binoculars, and it looks to be a pretty good buck headed our way. So I know I've been giving Paul a lot of grief, but as I'm sitting there looking through my binos at deer out in front of us, there was a buck headed right toward us that I didn't see, and luckily Paul saw him, hit me on the shoulder, alerted me. Now I'm ready. Let's just hope he can get it on film.
Stroked him, man, stroked him. Get on him, stay on him, stay on him, stay on him, stay on him. We just smoked him. Let me see, give me some. Yes, man. I mean, God, what an awesome deer, man. I mean, that's a good South Carolina deer. We've been hunting our rear ends off for days. That is the biggest buck we have seen. Oh my goodness, yes, man. Smoked him, man. The shot looked good. He looked like he was having trouble when he was going out there. I don't think he's going to be far. We've given him about 30 or 40 minutes. I think he's probably done. I guess if I could critique my shot at all, I'd say probably should have placed the pin a little further forward, but it was a really hard quartering away shot. I think at the angle, it probably came out right behind the opposite front shoulder, if I were to guess. Maybe should have put a little further forward, but we'll go recover him and find out. But Paul can see blood on the ground from here. I'm colorblind, so when the ground's wet like it is, it rained last night, I can't see the blood very well. But I'm hoping this doesn't take long. We can get down and find him and head back to West Virginia. That doesn't look good. That's not the best sign on the arrow. I mean, there's not it smells more like intestines. I knew it was quartering away hard. I aimed far back. God, maybe I just put it too back, but on film it looks like it came out right up here in the chest cavity somewhere, behind the shoulder. I think rather than even getting on the track shot right now, I think we're just going to play this one safe. Back out of here, maybe go take a little nap, get some lunch, and then come back and try to recover him. Last thing I want to do is push a deer. I mean, this stuff back in here gets pretty thick. So let's get out of here and we'll come back in a little while and hopefully we recover him.
Initially after the shot, I thought I made an excellent shot on that deer, but as we reviewed the footage and I looked at my arrow, at that point I wasn't so sure. I was pretty sure I hit a little further back on that deer than I wanted to. And a lot of times in these cases, if you give that deer time and you don't pressure them, they'll go bed down and they'll expire. But it's important that you don't pressure the deer, because if you do, your chances of recovering that deer are going to be a lot less. You bump that deer and it's hard to tell where it's going to run. And after it lays there for a while and it starts to clot up, you're going to have a lot harder time tracking that deer after it gets up. Well, we headed out and got a little quick bite to eat. I took a little nap. We're giving this deer a couple hours, so we're going to head back in and get on the blood trail and see if we can't recover him. So we shot the deer right over here, and he looped around and then he cut back this way, and right up here by this tree is where I last saw him, so we're gonna go up there and see if we can try to pick up the blood trail. I can see right here where we went through. I don't see any blood yet though. There's more blood right here. There's some more blood. There's more just kicking up. It gets real sandy right here. It's gonna be hard for me to see it. It came up right through here. Right there he is. Right there, he's down. Come on, he's down. Dude, he's down right there.
Nice, bro. Nice.
Very first South Carolina whitetail.
See the shot as far back. Oh, my mic came off.
Look at this, my first South Carolina whitetail. What a nice deer. I'm telling you what, I am as happy as I could be. You know, this is not a Pope and Young whitetail, but to come down here to South Carolina and hunt my rear end off, I mean, we've spent hours in the stand. And I guess this is a pretty good deer for down here. Man, this is a nice buck. We've got a few on camera about this size, but I am tickled to death. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And back in West Virginia, a lot of people would count that because you can hang a ring on it. I'd give him 12, but I'm gonna call him an 11 point. But my goodness, what a hunt. That was so exciting. And then to make a shot after looking at the footage, I was a little bit worried, but goodness gracious. I'm almost speechless right now. I mean, we spent so much time in the stand, sweating our butts off, decided to move our stand location yesterday in our first morning setting in the stand. We get a shot at a nice South Carolina 11 point.
Well, Kenny, you went on your first whitetail hunt in South Carolina, took a brand new cameraman with you, but you had a good time.
Yeah, we did. We caught some NASCAR action while we were down there, killed a nice buck. And, you know, I know we gave, or I should say, I gave Paul a lot of grief throughout this episode. And that's just because we're all friends. We're making it fun. Realistically, he did a pretty good job. At the end of the day, he got on the deer. He got it on film. He got the footage he needed. He learned a lot along the way. We put down a great deer, great weekend. Hopefully you all enjoyed that episode. Make sure you tune in next week because we're going to be right back here, same time, same place for some more exciting whitetail action. We are going to head back, get cleaned up, and we're going to take a little drive to Darlington, enjoy a NASCAR race tonight, have a cold beverage or two, then we'll be back here first thing in the morning, hopefully knocking down a big South Carolina whitetail.